Too much for me, ass. You son of a horse and bitch. I wish I knew how to quit you.
Well, why don't you? Why don't you just let me be, huh? I mean, it's because of you I'm like this. You and me just feel like that all there. Get the fuck out of me!
Brokeback Mountain, released in 2005 and is directed by Ang Lee, who's also behind such films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hulk, and Life of Pi. The film stars Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Williams, Anne Hathaway, Linda Cardellini, and Randy Quaid. Real nice. And I know what you're thinking, and yes, I am gonna wear this cowboy hat throughout this entire review. And this is episode 99 of Caleb Watches Movies. We have made it. We are at the tail end of our journey to episode 100 and beyond series. We have done 99 episodes. How? I just started this as a hobby because I love movies, I love talking about movies, and it's crazy to me that we have done 99 episodes. And today we are discussing a movie that helped me change my mind on a certain aspect, which was really a tough category for me to fill. Yes, I have gotten older, my value structure has changed, my philosophy has changed, so it was really kind of hard to find a movie that kind of helped me along in that aspect. But kind of going back and thinking about it, Brokeback Mountain is really the biggest example of that for me, as it was to a lot of people. This film came out in 2005. It was a time when gay marriage did not exist, and where homosexuality was just frowned upon. Yes, homosexuality was turning the corner at this point and coming into the limelight. It was becoming more socially acceptable, I guess. But for me, growing up, homosexuality was a big no-no. I mean, that's the most evilest of evil things that you could possibly do, right? I would remember heated debates between my parents about how they disagreed with our church's pastor because the pastor was pro-homosexuality, my parents were not. Nowadays, they are definitely more accepting, though, I will give them that. But growing up, it was a no-no. To the point where if at one point in my life I started feeling like how these characters felt in Brokeback Mountain, I probably would have been excommunicated from my family. So when I originally saw this movie, back around the time when it was released, I really didn't get it. Actually, I thought the movie was pretty long and pretty boring, and I was grossed out by the man-on-man scenes in this film. But now watching it for this channel with my older eyes, I have to say that this was a beautiful story. And the love scenes between these two actors, good job, guys. We get some nice mutton chops on mustache action. It is the 1960s, and Jack and Joe are hired to be sheep herders during a summer in the Wyoming mountains. But after living together for several months, they start to develop feelings and a relationship with each other. However, after the summer ends, they both go their separate ways, and both men marry different women. But after several years, they do reach out to one another and begin a love affair at their original spot, Brokeback Mountain. And that is the entire premise, and if you really take out the homosexual aspect of this film, this is just your straight kind of cookie cutter-ish drama film. Two people fall in love with each other, however, one is betrothed to someone else, so it's kind of this forbidden love storyline. Which, if you look at it in that context, this really isn't anything that we have seen before. But you put the homosexuality in it, and really with this mainstream film, this is the first of its kind. In particular, with these two A-list stars that agreed to do it, which at this time in Hollywood was unheard of. But you look at the two actors who they got to play these roles, and yeah, they're both risk takers. Why wouldn't they do this? And I gotta say, their relationship with each other, it got me this time. I was into it. I felt the love, and I also felt the pain of them trying to not fall in love with each other. Because this was the 1960s. This was the South. Homosexuality? No. If you were labeled as a homosexual man, there was a good chance that you would probably end up on the side of the road, unfortunately. And I believe it's that aspect that makes Heath Ledger's accent make sense to me.
Because Heath Ledger talks like this throughout the whole movie, you can barely understand a word that he's saying.
It kind of comes across as a stereotypical Texan accent. As the film unfolds and you hear the stories of him telling about how his father forced him to look at this dead body of this homosexual man who was dragged by his penis by a truck and just left for dead. And if he as a child was having these homosexual feelings and then being told, don't do that or else this is gonna happen to you, yeah, I would be very timid and very scared too. Probably to the point where I'd be talking like that. It felt like it was just painful for him to talk. Just at all, in general. Just the words in his gut and in his throat just fighting their way out. And I love that choice. But with Heath Ledger's character being super introverted, it's nice to have Jake Gyllenhaal's character be a little more open about his homosexuality and wanting to be with Heath Ledger. They see each other at least once a year, maybe 2 times, and that's the only time that they get to be completely happy in their lives. Yes, they are married. Heath Ledger has a couple of kids. Jake Gyllenhaal has a couple of kids of his own, and a very successful business that he's running with his wife, Anne Hathaway. On the surface, yeah, sure, I guess they're happy. But because of our culture, because of our society norms, they really can't be 100% truly happy because they can't be with the person that they love 100%. Now, this is a forbidden love story, so of course you're going to have 2 people that are basically being wronged. And that goes to these 2 men's wives. Michelle Williams, your heart just kind of breaks for her. I think I just said fur. It's the hat, I swear. You really feel for her when she finds Heath Ledger kissing Jake Gyllenhaal. You can see it in her eyes, and just her entire life just switches from there on out. Yes, they kind of live in the slums, but at least she was happy because she had someone. But then finding out that your husband, the person that you married, is a homosexual, and not just a homosexual, but is just kissing someone else passionately. Nowhere near as passionately as he kissed her. I mean, you can't blame her. She just goes into a downward spiral. And Anne Hathaway is here. She doesn't have a moment where she discovers Jake Gyllenhaal cheating on her, but you can definitely tell that she suspects something. It gets to the point where this marriage is basically just a contract situation. It's a partnership. It's not a marriage, because they just go to work and then they go home, and that's it. But you know what I think what is really interesting, me just kind of reviewing this film and talking about all these situations? It really has nothing to do with whether you're gay or whether you're straight. These are just people. 2 people that are falling madly in love with each other. Society says they can't be together, so they go marry 2 different people. And it's not that we hate all 4 of these characters, it's just that we want to see the right people end up with each other. And you can take that situation and you can put it in to any kind of culture. This film worked because of a homosexual relationship between 2 men. If this was a heterosexual relationship, it would have worked. If this was between 2 women, it would have worked. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is love is love. It doesn't matter who you fall in love with. You can have 2 men with each other, 2 women with each other, a man and a woman together. It should not matter. As long as everything's consensual between all parties, who gives a shit about who you're fucking? That's my 2 cents on the subject, and by God, I'm sticking to it. And with the technical aspects of this film, the cinematography is gorgeous. Beautiful pictures of the mountainside, the storm, the sheep that are being herded. This is a beautiful film to look at. And there are so many just subtle scenes in this film where Ang Lee really doesn't have any talking going on. It's just kind of looks and then subtle asides. And I like my talky movies, don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, sometimes it's just nice to have no words, to see emotions or to see a conversation carry through, but without a conversation happening. Now, it's not all good. This film does feel long in some points. There are points in this movie where I'm like, okay, come on, what's this leading to? To the point where when we get to this climax and we get to this ending, it kind of just ends. Where I guess Hollywood has conditioned us to have some kind of like glorified ending, but this one is not glorified. It's basically life. It's just going along and then all of a sudden it stops. And there's a part of me that goes, oh, I wanted more. But then the other part of me is going, that's beautiful. I like that. Really, it's up to everyone's interpretation. It's up to everyone's taste. And for me, it worked this time. So guys, in the end, Brokeback Mountain was a delight this time around. When I originally saw it when I was younger, I didn't really get it, and I gotta be honest, I was a little creeped out and grossed out by the homosexuality scene. But now that I've gotten older, my philosophy on things have changed. The homosexuality scenes, I loved here. And it just goes to prove that love is a beautiful thing. Why should we stop 2 people falling in love with each other? There's just something not right about that sentence. If you're in love with someone, be with that person. Because you only get one life. Why spend it with someone who you feel forced to be with? Just love is love. Love who you want to and be with who you want to. That's a public service announcement from Brokeback Mountain. So I'm gonna give Brokeback Mountain 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
All right, I am taking that off. wearing plaid in the middle of summer with all these lights was a bad choice. All right, everyone. Next time, it's going to be episode 100 of Caleb Watches Movies. We made it! I had pushed off this thing for so long, finally getting around to creating this channel. This past year, just little over a year, has been tremendous for me. It has rejuvenated my creative spark, and I can't thank all of you enough who have subscribed and watched these videos. So it is my honor that next week I'm going to be discussing my favorite movie of all time. Is it the greatest film ever made? Oh no. No, but it's my favorite. And everyone has that favorite film. One that you always go to and one that you always hold up any other film to. And it should be a film that just ignites something inside of you that just makes you happy and excited. And it's really a feeling that you probably only get once when you first see this film. In other words, it's a feeling that you deserve, but not the one you need right now. I wonder what it could be. So everyone, have you seen Brokeback Mountain? What did you think about it? Or, if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I post my next movie review. Alright everyone, I will see you next time with episode 100 of Caleb Watches Movies. It's my favorite movie, so in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.